Oh, well, I make some prank phone calls.
Ah, that's great.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 most mind-blowing Simpsons fan theories.
Would anyone care if we predicted that?
I don't know, but they will.
Number 20. Barney and Moe are the same person. This is definitely one of the more out there ideas that some fans have for the show. Of course, we all know Moe the bartender and Barney Gumble, two prominent figures at Moe's Tavern and a part of Homer's life.
You'll be back, and so will you, and you, and you.
Of course I'll be back. If you didn't close, I'd never leave.
However, some have proposed the idea that both Moe and Barney are the same person. How can that be? Well, apparently, Moe pressured Professor Frink into using his time machine to alter his childhood to improve his life.
Don't worry, Barney. Time heals all wounds.
Well, what do you know? You're right.
He took on the name Barney Gumble, but then walked into Moe's and forgot everything.
Mamma mia!
Number 19. The show is told from Ned Flanders' perspective. The Simpsons can be rather crass in their behavior, especially compared to their next-door neighbor Ned Flanders and his family.
Why aren't we ascending into heaven? Oh, right, the sins.
Perhaps we've been looking at things all wrong, as this theory suggests. The reason Homer is boorish and inconsiderate is because that's how Ned views him.
What's the matter, Ned?
I think I hate Homer Simpson.
The same can be said for Bart, whose bratty behavior would look worse compared to the respectable Rod and Todd. In fact, you can argue that the reason the Flanders flock looks so idyllic compared to the Simpsons is because of Ned's bias towards his family, while having contempt for Homer and his family.
Homer, you are the worst human being I have ever met.
Hey, I got off pretty easy.
Number 18. Bart was a stonecutter before Homer. Before Homer ever joined the Stonecutters, Reddit user TiePiper93 posits that Bart was already a member.
Lenny and Carl are never around on Wednesdays, and they don't tell me where they go. It's like a conspiracy.
A conspiracy, eh? You think they might be involved in the Kennedy assassination in some way?
I do. No.
There are only two ways to join the secret society. One being saving the life of a member or being the son of one. Back in season 2, Bart saved Mr. Burns' life, which would grant him membership.
By the way, what was the lad's name?
Bart Simpson, sir.
Who?
He's the son of Homer Simpson, one of your steps in Sector 7G.
Well, the Simpsons will be getting a very nice surprise in the mail. Very nice indeed.
He's also Abe's grandson, but we don't know how strict they are with family ties. Later, when Homer is revealed to be the chosen one, he commands Lisa to be removed from the room, and Bart happily follows the order.
Don't you see? Getting what you want all the time will ultimately leave you unfulfilled and joyless.
Remove the girl.
Dad, you're not with your stonecutters now. There are no lackeys around to carry out your every...
There's also the fact Bart frequently evades trouble at school because Principal Skinner is also a member of the Order. Number 17. Every episode is a new universe. Being on the air for more than 30 years certainly messes with the show's continuity. Not only does the layout of the town change, but so does that of the Simpson house depending on the episode.
Homer, it's really coming down. Could you check on the boys?
They're fine.
In earlier seasons of the show, Marge and Homer meet in the 70s, but in more recent seasons, they're both Gen Xers.
The middle of a wild decade known as the 1990s.
The 90s? Never heard of it.
Oh, it was a wonderful time. The Iraq War was over once and for all. A struggling Matt Groening created Futurama. And young people believed in their dreams.
Both Grandpa and Mr. Burns are shown as having fought in World War II, but they'd be close to 100 years old. One way to explain the shifting physical and temporal properties of the show is that each episode is its own universe, meaning there's no overarching continuity.
It seems like every week something odd happens to The Simpsons. My advice is to ride it out, make an occasional smart-aleck quip, and by next week we'll be back to where we started from, ready for another wacky adventure.
Ay, caramba!
That's the spirit.
Number 16. Moe knows Bart is pranking him. There's nothing more classic than watching one of Bart's prank phone calls to Moe.
Is Seymour there? Last name, Butts.
Just a sec. Hey, is there a Butts here? Seymour Butts? Hey, Hey, everybody, I want to see more bots. Oh, wait a minute.
After being pranked for so many years, you'd think that Moe would eventually figure out who's behind it all. Redditor Senor Schnarf proposes that he does in fact know it's Bart, but he admires the boy and wants to keep him happy.
Is Mike there? Last name, Roch.
Hold on, I'll check. My crotch! My crotch! Hey, has anybody seen my crotch lately? Listen to me, you little puke. One of these days I'm gonna catch you.
There is some evidence to back this up. After Homer is fired from the power plant, he's out drinking at Moe's. Marge sends Bart to bring Homer home right after a prank call.
It's you, isn't it? Listen, you, when I get a hold of you, I'm gonna use your head for a bucket and paint my house with your brains.
Bart, I want you to go down to Moe's Tavern. I need you to bring your father home.
When Bart enters the bar and starts speaking, Moe immediately recognizes his voice and is thrilled to see the younger Simpson.
Excuse me, I'm looking for...
Wait a minute. I know that voice. If it isn't little Bart Simpson, I haven't seen you in years.
That's right. That's my pop.
Number 15. Maude never loved Ned. The Flanders seem to have the perfect life, especially compared to their neighbors, the Simpsons. However, fans have noted several instances that would indicate that maybe Maude isn't the loving, devoted wife we all assume she is.
I told you to unplug the phone.
But it could be my mother. How did... Shoot!
That is it, Ned. If you don't unplug that phone right now, you're sleeping on the lawn.
Will you two shut up? People are trying to sleep!
When Ned snaps and is sent to a mental health hospital after his home is destroyed by a hurricane, Maude is nowhere to be found. When a comet is about to hit Springfield, Ned is forced out of his bomb shelter and she doesn't raise much opposition.
Sounds fair. Doodaloo, everybody. I'll scream when the comet gets here.
Oh, I'm coming with you, Nettie.
No, sweetheart. You stay here because...
Okay.
Later, after she's passed on, Ned has preserved her indentation in their bed, and she's positioned such that she slept facing away from her husband.
Could you sleep on my side? I'm trying to preserve Maude's indentation.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. A little starch will fix her right up.
Number 14. Chief Wiggum isn't Ralph's dad. Ever notice how Milhouse and his parents have similar features such as blue hair and big round noses?
What is all this stuff?
We've heard you've become a star. We decided we better start living in the fast lane.
What if I'm not a success? How will you pay for all this?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, son. I'm wearing a jacuzzi suit.
It's a good indication that they're related, but some fans have noticed that the same cannot be said about Ralph Wiggum and his parents. For one, they don't resemble each other all that much, leading some to speculate that Chief Wiggum might not be Ralph's father.
You poor little boy.
Oh, no, he'll be fine. He's always getting himself stuffed in this or that.
Who would be the boy's dad? Look no further than the Chief's underling Eddie, given that both he and Ralph have thin, stringy hair. While we can't say for sure, the resemblance is oddly suspicious.
I know Eddie is Ralph's father. Look at the hair. Look at the hair!
No, Clancy, I swear to you, it's not true.
My son's breath smells like cat food.
Number 13. Why Patty and Selma hate Homer. It's no secret that Marge's sisters are not particularly fond of Homer.
Patty and Selma just got promoted at the DMV.
Yeah, Homer. Let your wife have a glimpse of success for once.
All right, that's the last straw. Time to take out the trash.
Redditor BT Test Highlander 1 argues that the twin sisters' poor treatment of Marge is what pushed her to marry Homer. There are several instances where Patty and Selma are mean to a young Marge, and this had a profound effect on her when she grew up.
This thing called a fire drill, they use it to drill a flaming hole in your head. And there's only one big toilet, and they make you all go at the same time.
Homer can be a handful at times, but he has a pretty strong devotion to his wife, which is a stark contrast to Patty and Selma's behavior towards Marge. Since they want to continue to dominate their younger sister's life, they want Marge to be with a partner they approve of, thus treating Homer poorly in an attempt to convince her to move on from him.
Get out of here, you ghouls!
Number 12. Mr. Burns is aware of Homer's incompetence. Way back in Season 1, Homer becomes the safety inspector of the nuclear power plant.
I want you to be in charge of safety here at the plant.
Safety?
At the time, it made sense since he had just been on a public safety crusade. In the years following, He's been shown to be rather incompetent at his job, as we've seen him responsible for several near catastrophes. Frank Grimes even points out that accidents have doubled every year since Homer's been safety inspector.
Accidents have doubled every year since he became safety inspector. And meltdowns have tripled. Has he been fired? No. Has he been disciplined? No.
Mr. Burns is aware of Homer's ineptitude, since someone who did the job well would force the plant to fix the problems. When German investors buy the plant, they immediately fire Homer and find out how expensive it would be to bring the plant up to code. When Burns buys it back, he rehires Homer.
And rehire that chap who sassed me in the bar.
Homer Simpson. But why?
Smithers, I keep my friends close and my enemies even closer.
Number 11. Homer is a criminal mastermind. Homer is frequently portrayed as oafish on the show, but when there's a crime involved, he becomes suspiciously competent. When Springfield instituted Prohibition, he came up with a genius plan to supply the town with alcohol.
How have you been getting away with this?
Well, and I can explain, remember? I fill the balls with beer that I found at the dump, and then I boil them in some underground pipes, take them into Moe's.
Homer, that's very clever.
Not only was Marge impressed with his scheme, but no one was able to catch him until he came out and admitted it. In another episode, once Bart shows him how to illegally download movies, he starts his own backyard theater screening the ill-gotten films to the townsfolk.
Welcome to Cinema Pirate Diso. Tonight's movie is Life is Funny, directed by Judd Apatow. It's based on his life, starring his family, and ad-libbed by his friends. So for the next 3.5 hours, enjoy.
He even breaks into the Smithsonian Museum with Lisa to view the Orb of Isis, commenting how his fingerprints are on file with the Springfield police. Number 10. Bart created The Simpsons.
Oh, this is perfect.
Conjured up by Reddit user Just Embarrassing, this theory prophesies that Bart will grow up to be Matt Groening. Considering the show's creator based The Simpsons on his own family, going as far as to use their names, it makes sense that Bart would be partially based on himself.
And the globe goes to Angry Dad!
The Redditor points out that the prankster has already proven to be a capable writer and comedian, Ghost winning an award for an Itchy and Scratchy episode, and crafting an Academy Award-winning Angry Dad short. Like Groening, Bart's family tends to serve as inspiration for his creative work.
And the winner is Itchy and Scratchy, Abraham Simpson Rice.
Grandpa! Woo!
Number 9. Homer is still collecting royalties from the B Sharps.
Each trip's a trip to paradise with my baby on board.
Maybe not the sexiest theory, but it still makes a whole lot of sense. Redditor Somewhere Cheap speculates that despite working as an underpaid nuclear safety inspector, Homer still lives in relative luxury and can afford to travel the world with his family. As part of the Grammy-winning barbershop quartet, Homer's probably earned a decent chunk of change via royalties. However, when it comes to the rest of the B-Sharps, Barney would have drunk any money away, Apu's 8 children forced him into a life of modesty, and Skinner seems to be better off than his school board income should allow.
Is that reputation justified?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Number 8. Marge shot Mr. Burns.
Where is everybody?
Season 6 ends with Mr. Burns getting shot by a mysterious attacker, who, in the Season 7 opener, was revealed to be none other than Maggie Simpson. Since then, many have speculated on whether the baby was the true culprit, with one Reddit user pinning the crime on Marge. As a devoted mother who loves Springfield, Marge definitely had the motive to hate Mr. Burns. During the episode Marge Gets a Job, the villainous Burns falls in love with Marge, explaining why he would not single her out. And yes, we know Homer unceremoniously claimed to have been the culprit in Season 18, but Marge as the shooter is still an interesting theory to entertain.
I'm gonna get my revenge, and if I get caught, I'm pinning it on the baby like the time I shot Mr. Burns.
Number 7. Time-traveling Abe. For this theory, drafted by Redditor DataForge, we need to take the Treehouse of Horror episodes as canon, but otherwise stuff checks out. In the segment Time and Punishment, Homer creates a quick time machine and messes with the time continuum, resulting in a few crazy alterations. With things continuously getting worse, Homer remembers some advice from his father and settles for a timeline that's close enough to the original.
If you ever travel back in time, don't step on anything, because even the tiniest change can alter the future in ways you can't imagine.
This might suggest that Abe is an experienced time traveler, partially explaining why his recollection of history is all over the place. Mind you, it is more plausible that Abe is actually just senile.
And one day, I seen J.D. Rockefeller flying by, so I run out of the house with a big wash tub and, where you going?
Number 6. Homer knows he's a cartoon.
Hey, stop that!
You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, Patterson.
A handful of theorists focus their energy on justifying the later seasons of The Simpsons, especially when it comes to Homer's increasingly destructive personality. Rays of Davies' theory harkens back to the classic Season 4 episode Homer the Heretic, which concludes with Homer dreaming of God and learning the meaning of life. The Redditor believes that God told Homer he's a cartoon, explaining why the once lovable doofus turned into a mean-spirited jackass who acts only in his best interest. If nothing is real, then consequences are a thing of the past.
They're both losers! Losers!
Number 5. Nelson Muntz's biological father.
Bart, you are a bad friend.
There is more than one horse in this race. The identity of Nelson's biological father has always inspired many a discussion, with some speculating that Barney's his real daddy. Putting aside that Bart once found Mr. Muntz at a circus, a theory by Brownie James suggests that Nelson's real father is Snake Jailbird, pointing towards their similar physical appearance.
Oh, goodbye student loan payments.
Focusing on their personalities, Snake and Nelson are both sensitive with a complete disregard for authorities. For those who prefer their theories with a dose of sci-fi, Fire Robin 88 suggests that Nelson and Barney are actually the same person, due to his forcing Professor Frink to interfere with the past with a time machine.
Great game, son. Come on. I'm taking you to Hooters.
I don't want to bother Mom at work.
Number 4. The Simpsons are actually geniuses.
I just underwent a procedure to increase my IQ 50 points.
Really?
After decades on the air, nobody involved with The Simpsons can be called stupid. Lisa is the only member of the family praised for her intelligence, a distinction that might not be accurate. With regards to the dumbest of the bunch, Kirby Clock's theory points towards Season 12's revelation that Homer is only stupid due to a crayon lodged in his head. Meanwhile, Marge has excelled in nearly every profession she's tried, while Bart is creative and capable of picking up a foreign language at the drop of a hat. With the exception of Lisa, the rest of the family seems to have chosen ignorance over brains.
I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
Number 3. There are multiple mole men.
Not again!
Springfield is generally not the safest place, but that goes double for Hans Moleman. Whenever the unlucky Ralph Mellis shows up, fans know that Homer is about to unintentionally deliver a world of hurt. Most of Homer's antics should be fatal, but the Mole Man always comes back for more. Is this just Tom and Jerry logic? Or is there something else going on? Aaron 3 theorizes that there are multiple mole men running around, and Homer is constantly killing a different one. This is borderline confirmed in the Season 11 episode, Hello Gutter, Hello Fodder.
There is no escape from the fortress of the moles. No, except that.
Number 2. Springfield exists out of time and space.
The Simpsons!
The Springfield effect is among the more popular and detailed Reddit theories out there. Springfield seems to be stuck in a time loop since none of the residents have aged, despite the years clearly passing by in the rest of the world. The size of the town fluctuates depending on the situation, with buildings moving around to better fit the narrative. The theory suggests that Springfield exists outside of time and space, with the characters being unable to notice any anomalies in their lives. Well, it makes sense as any other explanation.
I can't fit in the booth!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Homer is in a coma.
This world was never meant for one as beautiful as you.
This one almost makes too much sense. The Redditor, called Hard to Pick a Name, believes that Homer never woke up from his coma during Season 4's clip show. 6 months earlier, God revealed to Homer that his time was nearly up, coinciding neatly with the later coma.
Don't feel bad, Homer. 9 out of 10 religions fail in their first year.
To be fair, the episode does end with Homer suddenly snapping back to reality, but this could be waved away as a dream. The theory explains why nobody ever ages and why subsequent episodes can be rather insane. Really? Any theory that discredits the principal and the pauper deserves the benefit of the doubt.
I'm an imposter. That man is the real Seymour Skinner.
What's your favorite Simpsons fan theory? Let us know in the comments.
No, it can't be true! It is true, Carl.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.